Welcome and thank you for joining us for our annual revealing of our legal market report focused on how the top 200 law firms use apps. I'm Lisa, your host today. I'm the lead researcher for legal app data and also the head of marketing here at Fliplet. So the agenda for today is a summary of the 2024 report and key trends. We'll then take a deep dive into practice area apps, look at the frequency of app updates, also cover the AI's impact in apps. We'll look at why law firms work with Fliplet and some recommended next steps. So the research for the report was conducted in July this year using the Global 200 list from law.com and used the public app stores, both Apple and Google, plus search engines. Just a note that the research does not include any web apps, pages, widgets, or any apps published via private app stores or MDMs. So the report will be available in the coming weeks, and it'll cover adoption of apps in law firms in 2024, some record growth in app launches from 2022 to 2024, top app types for law firms of all sizes are building apps, and event apps are on the rise. We'll send the report to everyone who's registered to view this webinar, and it will also be available via our website. So on to the key trends from this year's data. During today's webinar, we're going to focus on the top 3 trends from the 2024 report. These are that practice area apps are on the rise, which represents a huge opportunity for law firms of any size. The frequency of how often apps are being updated has increased significantly in the past 2 years, which is very pleasing to see. And the final trend we'll take a look at is AI's impact on apps. So onto our first trend on practice apps. For this year's report, we've taken a deeper dive into the apps to focus on the practice areas that apps have been created for. The key practices we're focusing on today are corporate law, industry law, litigation and arbitration, IP law or intellectual property, real estate, and government. Individual or family law is another broad area we analysed, and as there are only a couple within the report, we won't be discussing them in detail today. As with all practices, the apps included all serve a particular purpose for specific legal needs, providing tools for both clients and law firms. So the 2024 report indicates that the most popular areas are for corporate and industry law apps. This really indicates a focus on niche areas where regulatory requirements are unique. We're seeing some growth in litigation and arbitration apps, for example, Dawn Raid. Practice area apps are leveraging real-time updates such as push notifications and other alerts. And practice apps are predominantly published on Apple App Store, and a percentage have been updated in the past 18 months. Some of the top benefits for law firms creating practice apps are further monetizing and growing your client base, launching and growing practice areas, competitive advantage, providing on-demand value and/or services to your clients, building a community or network within your client base, strengthening relationships with clients, enhancing client service offering, including mobile access and support wherever they are, positioning your firm as a practice thought leader, streamlining operations for your practice, and also increasing engagement metrics with clients. You'll agree that there are a number of benefits that you can have. So here's an in-depth look at each category, their target audiences, benefits, and some example apps from the report. The research on corporate law covers areas such as mergers and acquisitions, corporate governance and compliance, tax law, contract law, employment law for corporations, and corporate finance and securities law, for the purposes of providing contracts, M&A, and governance tools to in-house legal teams, executives, and counsels. Focuses on efficiency, risk, and corporate compliance. So some corporate law examples are the Baker McKenzie reform contracts. It provides insights into contract law reforms in France, helping corporate clients stay compliant with new regulations. The Global Merger Regimes app from Latham & Watkins provides guidance on global merger control laws, helping businesses navigate filing obligations, regulatory thresholds, and approval timelines for cross-border M&A transactions. The Capital Markets app from Skadden offers insights into capital markets regulations, supports businesses with compliance for equity and debt offerings, IPOs, and securities law across global markets. And the HK Takeover app from Slaughter and May provides legal guidance on Hong Kong's takeover regulations, helping businesses and legal teams navigate compliance with the Hong Kong Takeovers Code. It's designed to support M&A transactions, ensuring adherence to regulatory requirements during corporate takeovers. So the benefit of all of these apps is to help clients stay compliant with corporate legal frameworks whilst streamlining processes and reducing administrative burdens. The research on industry law covers areas such as healthcare regulations and compliance, financial services and banking law, energy, insurance, and telecommunications and technology regulations, and also environmental law and sustainability. These apps provide real-time updates on sector-specific regulations for legal teams, regulatory specialists, and executives in industries that I've mentioned earlier. Some industry law app examples include Evershed Sutherland's Employment and Pensions Guide. This app provides detailed information on employment and pensions law across 50 jurisdictions. Users have the ability to view and compare issues across multiple jurisdictions. Hogan Lovells Horizons app offers strategic insights into global legal and regulatory developments, helping businesses stay informed about trends and emerging issues across various sectors. Solvency II from Slaughter and May provides guidance on the Solvency II regulatory framework, supporting insurance companies in managing compliance with capital requirements and risk management regulations within the EU. The benefit of all these apps ensures industry-specific compliance, it mitigates risk, and helps businesses navigate rapidly changing regulations. Moving on to litigation and arbitration apps. So within the research for the report, we found litigation and arbitration specifics of commercial disputes, regulatory investigations and dawn raids, class actions, antitrust and competition litigation, and fraud and white-collar crime litigation. These apps manage legal cases, track deadlines, and ensure regulatory compliance for dispute resolution teams, in-house counsel, and executives. Some examples of these are Clifford Chance's Dawn Raid app. This app assists businesses in handling unannounced inspections by government authorities with real-time legal guidance, checklists, and steps to follow during a raid. Chrome 11 have published an AdLib report app offering insights and updates on advertising litigation, helping businesses stay informed about legal trends and key cases in advertising law. And the final example is Covington's Arbitration Handbook. It provides comprehensive guidance on international arbitration procedures, supporting legal teams through the arbitration process with key resources and best practices. The benefit of these apps is that they streamline litigation and arbitration management and provide real-time support, improving case outcomes and compliance with strict timelines. Our next area we're looking at is intellectual property, or IP apps. The research conducted for the report indicate apps covering patent protection and disputes, trademark registration and enforcement, copyright law and digital rights management, IP licensing and commercialization, trade secret protection and brand protection and anti-counterfeiting. These apps are designed to manage IP portfolios and ensure timely renewals for IP lawyers, inventors, and corporate legal teams. The examples we found include Latham & Watkins' The Book of Jargon, PTAB, which provides a glossary of key terms and concepts related to the Patent Trial and Appeal Board, offering users quick access to legal terminology used in patent litigation and trials. The IP Entertainment Cases app from Loeb and Loeb tracks important intellectual property and entertainment law cases, providing legal professionals with case summaries and updates relevant to the media and entertainment industry. And our final example is Paul Hastings' FTM Guide, which is an app aimed at helping decision makers in the pharmaceutical industry. The benefit of all these IP apps is to simplify the IP asset management, reduce the risks of infringement, and provide real-time updates on global IP laws. Real estate apps found that the research that we did on real estate app practices found apps relating to commercial real estate transactions, real estate development and zoning, property leasing, real estate financing and investment, construction law and contracting, and environmental compliance. These provide guidance on transactions and zoning laws for property developers, real estate lawyers, and corporate legal teams. A couple of examples included here are King & Spalding's Real Estate Hub, which offers comprehensive tools and resources for real estate transactions, providing guidance on legal compliance, market trends, and regulatory developments affecting property investments. And the Latham & Watkins app for the Book of Jargon RE, which serves as a glossary of terms related to real estate law, offering users quick access to definitions and explanations of key terminology used in real estate transactions and financing. The apps for real estate help clients navigate the regulatory landscape of real estate law and manage transactions efficiently. And our final practice app that we're focusing on is the government apps. They include public procurement contracts, administrative law and regulatory compliance, government investigations and white-collar defence, lobbying, political law, defence and national security laws. These provide resources for public procurement and government regulations for corporate legal teams, regulatory advisors, and businesses involved in government contracts. Now, whilst we've seen apps live within the government apps space in the past, there are currently none live in the app stores, suggesting that law firms have shifted their focus away from these apps, which opens up a huge opportunity for law firms to capitalise on. The benefit is that it just simplifies the process for complying with government regulations, reducing the risk of legal disputes in public sector contracts. So what does this mean for law firms? Well, client expectations are changing. They're now expecting real-time solutions with instant access to legal services, legal guidance, or reference materials. Practice area apps aren't a one-size-fits-all. They're targeted apps for specific areas that address the unique challenges for their clients' industries, and therefore specialisation is key. As I've just mentioned about government, and also with real estate, where we only had 2 examples, there are opportunities in these underrepresented areas for law firms to capitalise on in the public app stores. And also the future of legal service is efficiency. These apps enable law firms to provide cost-effective, scalable legal solutions that deliver return on investment. So firms should be asking themselves, are we speaking with clients to determine their needs and evolving apps to meet their changing needs? Are we supporting all potential users through a practice app? Can we grow underserved practice areas with niche-focused apps? Have we created processes to enable us to rapidly update and improve apps and react to competitors? Is our app updated frequently enough to stay relevant and useful? And are we willing to innovate further or risk falling behind? Re-evaluating your mobile strategy often will help law firms to stay competitive, deliver better client service, and drive internal efficiencies. So let's move on to our next trend, frequency of updating apps. Some observations from our report include that industry-related practice apps have the highest average number of updates at 5 per year. Community and emergency management and event apps have an average of 3 app updates per year. And client portal apps are slightly lower, averaging around 2.7 updates per year. And this makes sense because a lot of the updates will be done within the portal itself. And apps on average across the whole report set are updated once per year on average. We can see from the report that apps launched between 2010 and 2016 have been updated every 2 to 3 years, some every year, indicating the value that the firms see in these apps. And clearly, those apps are still live 8 to 14 years later. Almost 50% of the apps were updated in the first half of this year, which is a great result from our perspective. Another 25% were updated last year. This indicates that while 75% have been updated in the past 18 months, there is 25% that are at risk as they haven't been updated in recent times. Also to note, this data excludes in-app updates, such as content or other changes the app could receive, which wouldn't have been published to the App Store. It only includes App Store updates. So frequent app updates are really crucial for maintaining relevance and ensuring that your users are satisfied with the app. Regular updates help address user feedback, they fix bugs and introduce new features, keeping the app aligned with user needs. Frequent updates ensure apps are protected against evolving cyber threats by applying necessary patches and meeting compliance standards. Regular updates show responsiveness to new regulations, technology, and client expectations. Smaller, more frequent updates are less disruptive and help avoid technical debt, reducing the risk of larger issues over time. App stores are actively retiring old apps, which does put old apps at risk. Keeping your apps updated ensures they stay relevant, secure, and useful, which is a key to maintaining their long-term value. So our recommendations for updating apps are that you review your apps at least once every 6 months, focusing on functionality and content. You should aim to publish App Store updates at least every 6 months. Reviewing your analytics regularly to identify what is working and what can be improved, and then taking action on those things. Adding features to enable users to interact with you and with each other to increase engagement with the app. You could consider things like discussion boards or having topics that they can discuss and Q&A events. Integrating your app to help generate content instantly from other systems, which saves you time and effort and keeps users engaged. And your app should be an ever-evolving tool, being constantly updated. Our account management team and support teams help our customers with app reviews to ensure apps are regularly updated. So before we move on to our next section, I'd just like to encourage you to submit any questions that you have through the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. My colleague Kyle will be on hand to answer them at the end of the webinar. So AI in apps, or more further, the impact of AI in apps. As of July 2024, none of the apps in the report promote the use of AI. This may indicate that there's a hesitation to promote AI features in apps, if they have indeed been implemented. Based on Fliplet's knowledge, law firms are starting to use AI features in their apps. Our prediction is that AI-powered features are going to become more common as clients begin requesting or preferring apps with AI capabilities. Our clients are already using AI to generate draft content, generate images, and assess usage data. So recommendations of launching AI-powered apps next year. Summarizing or translating long content to suit the user's preferences and extract key data relevant to the user. Using AI to deliver personalized content or recommendations and delivering those experiences that are tailored to the individual users. Implementing AI-powered data analysis to help users make data-driven decisions without having to export data, use Excel, or work with data specialists. And improve searching and understanding answers using AI search and chatbots. Streamlining data entry through AI-powered form fillings are just a few options. We're excited for where AI can take apps. So why do law firms use Fliplet? Well, in case you're not familiar, Fliplet is an online tool that enables anyone to very rapidly build apps. You can create an app once and publish across Apple, Android, and the web. And law firms can deliver a range of app solutions, including practice area solutions, events, emergency management, and community solutions. 43 of the global top 200 law firms are Fliplet customers, plus many more outside of the top 200. So why law firms create their apps with Fliplet? Here are some of the reasons. You can create a unique and customized solution. You have security and control of who can access your app and when. You can white label these solutions and integrate with existing systems, such as your databases, HighQ, SharePoint, and others. You have the option to produce public or private solutions. They can be published across desktop and mobile devices, and often they will work offline. There are multiple use cases and solutions to choose from, and it's easy for non-technical staff to maintain the app and its content. We have a variety of case studies on our website for the apps that law firms have launched on Fliplet if you'd like to have a look. Now, on to some recommended next steps. If you've already have some apps, I'd like to pose these suggestions. Are there any practice areas at your firm that you can see an app use case for? Consider the benefits discussed throughout this webinar that you could gain from building out your apps, particularly in your practices. Are there any of your apps that could benefit from AI-powered tools? And when was the last time you updated content or features in your app? And if you're new to apps, welcome. You should ask yourself, are there any practice areas at your firm that you can see an app use case for? Consider the benefits discussed throughout this webinar that you could gain from building out your apps, particularly in your practices. Are there any AI-powered tools that you have heard of that your processes or systems could benefit from? And we'd strongly suggest creating a plan for how you'll update your apps once you've launched them. And if you haven't used Fliplet before, it's really easy to get started. You can sign up for free via fliplet.com/signup, choose from one of our pre-built solutions, adding in your existing content, and easily share a preview with colleagues for review. Our team on live chat are always happy to help. Or if you prefer for us to show you how it's done, you can book a meeting with us via fliplet.com/book-a-meeting. We would really love to hear from you. And now moving on to our Q&A, we'll see if there are any questions, and I'll welcome my colleague, Kyle.
Hello, Lisa.
Hello, Kyle. So I can see a few questions here. We'll start with this one. Is there any way that I can find out more about the intellectual property apps that firms are building?
Yeah, of course. I think first of all, for existing clients, please get in touch with your account manager, because we do a number of different things with our client base to expose the applications that can be built within Fliplet. One of which is putting together a use case document for you. But other things that we do is we'll hold calls with primary stakeholders or the app building sort of stakeholders within your firm and talk through the different use cases, features and functionality that's within them, and any considerations you want for those app builds. And if you are not yet a client of Fliplet, then please get in touch with my colleague Sam and the sales team. He'll be able to do a similar thing for you. But it's something we commonly do on a monthly, quarterly basis with clients. So if anything that you saw there in that report is of particular interest to you, please do get in touch, book a call with your account manager, and we can talk through those different use cases with you.
Thank you. Another question here. Thank you very much for sending in your questions. Do you help with publishing in app stores?
We do, yes. We have a process for hand-holding effectively to publish your apps within the app stores. And that's both whether you want to publish them publicly, as a lot of these solutions, or all of these solutions that you've seen in this report today would be. But we also see our clients publishing their apps in the app stores on a private basis. So effectively, you want it to be ring-fenced for certain customers of your firm, or maybe to go out to your staff too. So yes, we do help with publishing your apps, because we know it's something that if you haven't done before might seem a little tricky.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And our last question, which is an interesting one. Do you have any insight on apps being published via web? Because obviously this report doesn't cover web.
Yeah, I think one of the slides you mentioned, obviously, you can publish apps built in Fliplet across Android, Apple, and web. And for a lot of the use cases, or all of the use cases we looked at here, you're probably going to want to publish them as mobile applications for your customers to use. But it's very common for clients to publish apps as both mobile solutions and or web solutions. Sometimes it might be something quick and one-off that you want to build quickly and publish it as web and post the URL, which can be accessed on a desktop or a mobile device. And it looks like a mobile app would anyway. You just lose some functionality doing it that way. But it's also worth considering or noting that some clients will build solutions within Fliplet and publish them, or embed them, I would say, into client portals or into their intranet or into some sort of client-facing website that they have. So you've kind of got multiple options there. And we did have a webinar 2 weeks ago, so you can get the recording on our site, where we covered off the custom domains functionality that we have delivered in some instances for the email domains and are delivering for web domain. So you can white label effectively your solution. So it has your firm name as the URL. So it looks and feels like your firm with design, etc. But having that URL with your firm name is really important if it's going to be client facing. And we also cover off in that webinar our SEO compatibility functions as well, so that your web apps can be fully discoverable on Google search, for example. So again, if you're a client, please get in touch with your account manager if you want to talk about how you might want to leverage that within your web apps. And if you're a prospect or somebody that's interested in using Fliplet, please get in touch via support or our contact details to find out more about that.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Kyle. So they are all the questions that we have for today. Just to let you know about our upcoming Fliplet Summit, which is in a couple of weeks on Thursday, the 10th of October. You can scan the QR code on the screen and sign up straight away. The agenda for that is our CEO, Ian, will be covering a keynote on how to attract and retain app users. Very excited for that one. And we'll also be speaking to Dykema, and they'll be telling us all about their app journey, which will be really, really exciting. We'll then cover the usual things that we do in our roadmap update, letting you know everything we've launched in the last 6 months and planning to launch in the upcoming 6 months, and then some demos of our latest features and solutions. So advanced analytics for Fliplet apps, our latest event solution features for 2025, and also showing you an exclusive look at our new workflow features to automate your apps without code. And we'll finish off with an InfoSec update. So thank you very much for attending today's webinar. That is all that we have. We do hope to see you on another Fliplet webinar very, very soon. Have a great day.